Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Malia. I finally have the review of the Spanish school that I went to in Medellín Colombia. It's been a minute, I know. For those that don't know, I went to Medellín Colombia for 1 month for Spanish school specifically, and I also traveled around to different things. I have a whole series on my YouTube channel listed Malia in Medellín Colombia, so definitely go check that out if you want to see all my videos on that, all my advice, safety tips, all those things will be on that playlist. But today we were talking about the Spanish school that I went to. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it worth it? We'll find out. So let's get it started. First, gonna start off with why Medellín Colombia. First off, you guys, in my last year of living in Spain, I knew I wanted to continue traveling and continue my Spanish, but I didn't know where I wanted to go, right? So I was like, well, gotta go to South America because where else am I gonna go? Because we just got Spain. In Europe, everywhere else will be like Latin American countries. So right away, my top pick was Medellín Colombia, right? And I ended up steering away from it because of the huge gentrification problem in Medellín. I kind of steered myself away from it because I did not want to be one of the Americans from the US that was part of the problem, right? So I kind of was like, you know what, let me just research some other options. So I was thinking like Ecuador, Costa Rica, Panama, and I had a whole plan set out for those 3 countries actually. And I was doing a little bit more research on Ecuador, and I saw that there was a lot of problems politically happening and it wasn't safe to visit. So I went all the way back to my main idea about Medellín Colombia, and I was like, you know what, I can't get it out of my head, so let's just go, just do it. And that's what I did. And I would like to say that I also had a Colombian roommate while I was in Spain, so she definitely influenced a lot of going to Colombia and Medellín specifically. She was actually from Bogota, but she raved and raved about Medellín and how great and amazing it was. And I was like, I gotta go. Like, I gotta do it. So that is kind of how I chose Medellín Colombia. Like, honestly, it was always on my mind. I've been wanting to go. I followed so many people on TikTok and YouTube that love to travel to Colombia, especially Medellín. And I was like, you know what? There are too many signs everywhere. I just gotta do it. So that's what I chose. And I chose Medellín Colombia, and great city. So love that for me. How I found the Spanish school. I went to Total Spanish School in El Poblado for 1 month. I got this question on a lot of my videos while I was in Colombia on how I picked the school and like the location of it and all of that stuff. And I would first like to say that I actually got my accommodation first. So I decided to get an Airbnb in Lareles. So because I stayed there, I wanted to go to a school that wasn't too far away. So I researched a lot of different schools and tried to see where their locations were at, and also what classes they offered, like group classes, private classes, online classes, different sizes of classes also, because some schools will do small group classes while others will do like a large group class. And I feel like a really large group class is really hard for me to learn in, for that setting at least. So I was looking for like smaller group classes. I didn't know if I wanted to do private classes, but I still wanted to keep that option open for me. So I was also looking at schools that had the private classes also offered. I also wanted different activities offered through my school to do, and a lot of different schools that I was researching already had the activities implemented in the schedule and with their program of the classes. And I wasn't the biggest fan of that because I was like, what if I don't want to do this one tour? What if I don't want to do this one thing? But I kind of already paid for it, like I kind of have to go. I just didn't really want that, and I wanted it to be more of an optional choice. So that's also what I was looking for activities that were a part of different Spanish schools. Lastly, I was looking for schools that worked mostly on grammar because that's what I needed help with the most. I feel like my speaking was like pretty good, like it was pretty basic. Like I could hold a pretty basic conversation in Spanish because I was doing online classes for like the last 2 years, I would say. Just like a lot of things with grammar that I just didn't know, didn't understand, and I wanted more of like a sit down class with that and not solely just conversation, just talking, because then I'm just continuing to talk and speak in broken Spanish. You know what I mean? I really wanted to find a school with very like strict, hard grammar to work on, and that is exactly what I found with Total Spanish. Now we're gonna get into why I chose Total Spanish School, and I've already kind of gone over a couple of the things that I was looking for. They had everything that I was looking for. Everything that they offered, I was like, perfect, check. Loved it all. So like I said, I was looking for mostly small group classes, and they offered group classes with no more than 7 people, I want to say. which was like a perfect amount of people in a class. The classrooms weren't too big. Total Spanish School offered small group classes and private classes, so I was like, that's perfect for me. I did really like that the activities that they offered were optional and they weren't implemented in the program and the schedule and everything. And I'll also be talking about the extra activities that were offered a little bit later in the video, but I really like that they were just optional. I didn't mention this before, but I also liked that there was an accommodation with the school, because a lot of Spanish schools I was looking at had accommodation with it, so you kind of would just stay in that one area, but then it's like you don't really get to explore or venture out to other areas if like you're staying in like the dorm or like have like a room over there, and then you're going to the Spanish school and all the activities are already a part of your schedule. It's like you're with the same people all the time in the same area. And when I travel, I like to venture out, meet new people, try new things. So to just kind of be stuck with all the same people in the same location all the time didn't really sound too interesting to me, right? So I love that everything the Total Spanish had was optional to choose from, so I really like that. And my last reason on why I chose Total Spanish is because it was at a very affordable price. For 1 week of lessons, it was 675,000 Colombian pesos, and then that translates into $165 a week in USD. So I was there for 4 weeks and I paid about $660 for the month of Spanish classes. That's really good, you guys. If you break that down into one day, that is $33 each day for a class. Very affordable, so it definitely caught my eye right away. So those were the main reasons on why I chose Total Spanish, but also the reviews online of that school were amazing. Like when I tell you, I think they have 4.9 stars and a bunch of reviews, and I should make a review for them. I just realized I have not made a review for them, but they definitely deserve it because that school was amazing. I'll get into more of like how the classes went and the teachers, people working there and everything, but the reviews were really good and very true and honest. So definitely always be looking up reviews and not just the websites of things that you're looking up or schools that you're looking up. You want to get advice from like the outside people, because it's gonna be like the most honest and true responses that you can probably find. My next little section to talk about is how the classes went, but before I even get into that, I want to share how you test into your level for your classes. So before you will start the school, they will send you a written test to do, and then after you'll do the oral test with one of the workers there. So I did the written test first. Let me tell you, I know I did so bad on that written test. I was like, I don't know anything. And I have been studying Spanish for a while now, right? I did not do well. I didn't even know my score anymore, but I just knew it was bad, and I was like, dang, I'm gonna be at the starter beginner level, and I did not want to start all the way over with my Spanish because then it's kind of like I'm just wasting my time. So when I did the oral speaking test, I talked to Cindy. She's one of the workers at the school. She is such a nice and sweet person. I really liked her. So when I did my speaking test with her, I was so nervous. I remember doing it like a few days before I went to Colombia, because she was like, your test score is very different on your speaking level. And I was like, yes, I'm aware of that, because my private lessons, I only do communication. I only do speaking, like conversation. So I'm pretty good on that part, right? So they were like, okay, we're actually gonna bump you up a couple sub levels and start you at a better level that we think would work for you best. And I was like, okay, cool. I really liked that there were 2 sets of tests for them to put us into a level, because like I said, my conversation and speaking skills are so much higher than what my grammar was beforehand. So I really liked the test beforehand. That's just what I had to do before I even started my classes. Once you finish those tests, they'll send you an email or a WhatsApp message to tell you what level you'll be in and what teacher you have and all those things. So I started out in A1-3. So just a little bit of background knowledge for people that don't know. For Spanish levels, you go from A1 to C2. So it's like A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. You know, you get it. And the way that Total Spanish would do their levels was A1, then they would have like sub levels. So it'd be like A1, 1, A1, 2, A1, 3, okay? So I was at the end of A1, so I was in A1, 3 for my first week of classes. And then the remainder of my time at the school, I was in A2, and I ended up at A2-3. So A2-1, A2-2, A2-3. You get what I'm saying? I feel like I'm just like singing right now. But you get what I'm saying, right? That's how they did their levels, and I was kind of confused about that in the beginning, but I honestly really like that because it gives you a lot more time to go through each level and not just rush right through it. So I really liked that it like they took things like day by day, step by step, to really have us understand all the information that we're learning and like helping us retain all of it too. So continuing with how my classes went, I did my classes Monday to Friday, so 5 days a week, and my classes went from 9 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. So I would do 4 hours of Spanish every single day just from the school alone. And we would also get about a 15-20 minute break around 11 o'clock to kind of just go outside, get some food, get some coffee, kind of like wind down a little bit, give our brains a rest, because you will need it. When you are learning a language, it feels like your brain is always working, it's always on, and it makes you feel so tired. So I like that little break in the middle. That was much needed. I had a different teacher each week of my school there, except, wait, that's a lie. I almost had a different teacher each week. I had 3 different teachers during my 4 weeks there. So I had one teacher for 2 weeks in a row. And also you'll have different people in your classes each week. I stayed for a month. Some people stay for a month or a couple months, but there's a lot of people that are just backpack travelers that will just come in for a week of lessons just to kind of freshen up their Spanish, kind of get some more vocab down and better grammar, better speaking skills. And so there were a lot of people that I met from all over the world that would come into my class for like a couple days. They'd be like, okay, see ya, I'm gonna go to a different country now. So that was really cool to get to meet a lot of different people, and I liked how organized the school was as well. I didn't have any problems with like any organization for like my schedule and just like different things like that. But yeah, I really appreciated that. I also really liked having different teachers. It's interesting to see different teaching methods compared to each other, but also which ones work better for me. I don't know, I feel like they all worked and they all taught very well. All the teachers were very professional. They were definitely on the younger side too. I really liked all of the teachers there. You know, some of them were a little bit more challenging than others. Like some of them were like, you know, very nice, wanted you to do really well, would help you with a lot. And then there were some teachers that were definitely a lot harder on you, a lot stricter on you, and definitely a lot more challenging in general. But I love having teachers like that are gonna push you to be better, because they want you to become better. They're not trying to be mean, they're not trying to make you feel bad about yourself or when you're learning. It's like you need that challenge and you need that push if you want to get better at something. So I liked having a good mix of kind of all of that with the teachers there. And then like I said before, I was really looking for a school that worked on grammar a lot. The majority of my time at Total Spanish, we worked a lot on grammar. Like, I kid you not, like the amount of information that I had in my brain just like scrambled around was crazy. We definitely still practiced like conversation, a little bit of reading and a little bit of writing as well, but mostly just working on grammar. We would basically just like work on the grammar during the classes, and then we would do, you know, reading, writing, and obviously conversation. All of my classes, no one should have been speaking English the whole time. There were some people in my classes that would always try to just like speak English, and I'm like, you're in a Spanish school, you know? It's like, why are you speaking English right now? You need to be practicing your Spanish. And people would be like, well, I don't know what this means, blah blah blah. And a lot of them would push us to not speak any English, because I would honestly get so annoyed when people would start speaking English, because I'm like, I don't want to hear none of that. On our break after class, sure, speak to me in English, but right now this is all Spanish. Like, all hands on deck, you guys. Like, we should not be speaking any English in this class. So this would vary by each teacher. I would usually have homework every single day from class, and so that's when I would usually practice more of my writing and my reading skills. And then the next morning when we would review our homework, I would still be practicing more with writing and reading. I saw the level of my Spanish change and improve so much solely on the grammar, and it was just so nice to be like, oh, this is why I say this thing, or this is why I changed the ending to this. It just made my brain so much clearer with my Spanish, and so I just really appreciated learning the basic formal grammar structure. And overall, I really liked all of the group classes that I was in, and like I said, there were always different people here and there. I feel so much more comfortable in a group class than on like in a private one-on-one setting. I just feel like I can learn and like bounce off of like my classmates instead of just having me and just the teacher, because that's a lot of room for error, and I feel like one-on-one classes make me very nervous. This is like kind of a cocky thing to say, but when I'm in a group class, I'm never the worst one, and that makes me feel really good about myself. That's like a really bad thing to say, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm like at the highest level. I took it very seriously. I didn't really brush it off as like a chore I had to do. Like I was really invested in these classes, so I would try really hard, and just like not being at the bottom of my class just made me feel like really good about myself. So, you know, I just like group classes also because of that aspect, and it's true, it's honest. I'm sure other people probably feel that way as well, but just some honesty up in here for you guys. And my next section I want to talk about are the activities that were offered with my school. So this school had activities just about every single day after classes. For example, every Monday there was a welcome lunch for all of the new people that showed up, and I did that my first week. It was nice to try some local Colombian food, meet new people, and then also I was able to practice my Spanish at the lunch, which was nice. Every Tuesday I would do a dance class and a language exchange. So with my school, I was able to get a free dance class every single Tuesday. So I learned salsa, bachata, and merengue. Like that was so fun, and for free too. It was an hour-long class, and it was just like so fun. So I love that that was offered for free. And then I also would go to the language exchange also on Tuesdays called Gringo Tuesdays. So I'd go to Gringo Tuesdays with my school, and if I went with my school, I'd get a free beer. If I didn't go with my school, I didn't get anything, but I would still go with my school because I like to do language exchanges to practice my Spanish. And for people that don't know what language exchanges are, you're basically just practicing your Spanish with different people around the same level as you. And at Gringo Tuesdays, they also had language practice for French, Portuguese, Italian, like a lot of different languages, but obviously the main one there was Spanish. So there would always be like a leader kind of at the table that would lead us in conversation for Spanish. Just get to know each other, just talk about how your day is going, how your week's been, why you're in Colombia, if you like to travel, just like a lot of different things you could talk about. Ooh, I also had the opportunity to go to one of the football games, which is so fun to see, and to see the fan base over there was just so cool because I love to see different like countries and cultures and like how they celebrate sports. And I don't know, I just thought it was like really cool, and they were hyped up, I'll say that for sure. And then some of the other activities that my school would offer would be like different tours. So they would do a tour to Guatapé, to Comuna 13. They would do different museum visits, walking tours around. Each week there was different activities, but the main ones that would always stay were the Monday welcome lunches, dance classes, language exchange, and everything else would kind of just be a mix of different things. Fridays during our break, there would be different food, drinks, juices, fruit, just like different things to try during our break. And like I kind of like that. It was kind of fun. So like on our break, they're like, oh, we have like arepa choclo, we have maracuya, we have like so many different things. So they definitely had a lot of things offered. And once again, I just loved that it was optional. I loved that I didn't have to go if I didn't want to, that it was already and it wasn't already implemented in my schedule. The lady that ran the extra activities, she was so sweet and so nice, and she chose a lot of good options. So I definitely liked all those activities that they had planned out. And if you can't tell throughout this video, I loved my experience with that Spanish school. I had an amazing time. I would give them an A+, 5-star rating, whatever you want to call it. They deserve a perfect score because I absolutely loved my experience there. Everyone from the teachers, the people at the front desk, the activity planner, like everyone was so nice, so respectful, very professional, and they made my experience so great there. And I highly recommend going to the Spanish school in Medellín, Colombia. And not only were they like so just kind and respectful, but they made me feel so comfortable in speaking Spanish, which obviously is like a main factor, you know what I mean? But I don't know, they just made me very comfortable and very proud of my improvement in my Spanish. Like I remember I was walking with Cindy to my last language exchange, and we were talking on the way there, and she was like, your Spanish got so good. Like that just made me feel so good that all of my hard work was paying off. And I don't know, they just made me feel very proud of myself. And I think that's like it's just like a very special feeling to have. So why am I getting emotional, you guys? I am so glad that I decided to go with Total Spanish School in Medellín, Colombia. I will have their website linked down below in the description if any of you guys would like to check them out. If you're ever going to be doing an upcoming trip to Medellín, definitely stop by, try to see if you can get some classes in, work on your Spanish. And I'm telling you right now, if I go back to Medellín, Colombia, I will be going back to that school and I will be working on my Spanish again, because I don't think my time could have been any better. Thank you to Total Spanish. I don't know if they'll ever see this, but if you do, thank you to all of you guys. I had an amazing time. You're all so great, and I hope I can visit sometime in the near future. If you guys want to know anything else or have any more questions for me, just let me know in the comments down below. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Adios. Ciao. Hasta luego.